All right, it is 7 o'clock, so we will call the regular meeting of the Cannon Township Board to order for June 9, and we will start with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Todd.
I'm going to do my best on this. I apologize. I'm just getting over laryngitis, so my voice is just coming back, much to the disappointment of my wife. Sorry if you're watching at home, honey. It's no longer going to be quiet in the house. All right. If you bow your heads with me, if you want. My Lord, my God, pause today to give thanks. Lord, we are so thankful for all the blessings you shower down upon us each and every day. Lord, thank you for giving us opportunity to live in this beautiful area. Lord, thank you for those that give of their time and their talents on committees and in boards and on the fire department and for this township to make this township better. Lord, we pray that you guide our words and our actions so that we make good decisions that best benefit this township. Lord, we ask that you look over our firefighters, our paramedics, and our law enforcement. Lord, please keep them safe as they do their work here in our township. And I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Nancy.
Jim.
Here.
Cy.
Here.
Henry.
Here.
Jessica. Here. Steve.
Here.
Todd.
Here.
David.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right. If there are no changes to the agenda, we need a motion to approve the agenda.
I make a motion we approve the agenda.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and supported. Any comments, questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion to approve the minutes of May 12th.
So move. Support.
I actually have a change.
Hang on a minute. It's been moved and supported. Now we can talk about your change.
Oh yeah, sorry. The part that Mr. Olson said that it doesn't cost any money for the let me pull it up real quick. In the minutes, it says that you say it doesn't cost any money for the thing that's getting approved. And I just thought it should be corrected. Hold on.
Can you give me a little more context?
What are we talking about?
In the minutes, when you're talking about the Pride and New Huff contract, that it shouldn't exceed $15,000, it says that it doesn't cost any money. So I think I'm just being a finicky person on it.
No, I appreciate you calling that out because I don't remember saying that.
What are we saying? Which section?
It says it does.
Section
cost.
3 or K3. Is that where you're?
Oh,
It's K something.
K3.
K2, the trail art. K3, the rec master plan.
Oh, here it is. Although it does cost money, there is a return on our investment. I recant my statement.
Okay.
Sorry, gentlemen.
Thank you.
All right.
Put a knot in there.
All right. With that, all those in favor of approving the minutes say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? General fund, we need a motion to approve bills 19,229 through 274 and EFT 842 through 851.
So moved. Support.
It's been moved and supported. All those in favor of approving the bills say aye.
Aye.
Any questions, comments on the treasurer's report or the building report? At all? Nothing? All right. Jim, the closed session meeting minutes?
I make a motion we approve the closed session minutes for 5/12/25.
Support?
Support.
It's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, public comment. Again, it says relate. We should probably just take that off. It says related only to agenda items, but if you have something else to say, you can say whatever you want. Anybody? No? Okay. Next, pending business update on Kitson parking. Tonight, we, as promised, have the parking ordinance that goes along with the agreement entered into by the parties to the BLI and AMPLs with some help from the township. The ordinance is there. I also included the signs. The parking signs are up, and the air park is up and running. So if people do, and I put a thing on the website. I think it went up there about what all this looks like, and that people should let's at least give this a chance to work. And it is to alleviate that nuisance that's down there, which potentially, which is why we did all this, eventually could be dangerous. The ordinance is pretty self-explanatory. Basically, it just gives us the power to, if we have to, ticket people that are on Kitson or Belding Road or parking where they shouldn't on without the air park or on other parts of Aunt Belle's property, and that's spelled out there. Are there any questions on the rest? It's very simple, but it's just kind of an enforcement mechanism to. I know nobody in Cannon Township is gonna go against this, but people that are driving through and they want to go there, they may still park, and those are the ones that we're gonna, they're going to be the violators, and we'll take care of them. I honestly, I think that Cannon Township people have been living with this long enough that they get how bad it is down there, and that we're going to try to get this to fix it. So, any questions, comments on this at all?
Do we need to set a public hearing? Do we need to set a public hearing on this?
Doug did not say that we did.
I didn't see anything here about it.
What we can do is if you want to do a motion to conditionally approve it, if this is what people want to do, if they want to vote for this, then if we can do that, then I will follow up with Van Essen tomorrow. And if we do, then we'll just set it for a public hearing and do it again.
Okay, so I make a motion we can conditionally approve ordinance number
I don't think.
Township parking ordinance
Yes.
as presented.
All right. Is there support for that?
Support.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? All right. I'll follow up with Van Essen.
Hey, Steve.
Yes.
Question.
Oh, sorry. Okay. From the parking? No. It goes, my understanding, it goes to the antique mall installation at Bell's to cover the cost of maintenance of the parking lot that she's opened this up. The rates are set by her, but there was, hang on.
Set by the three of us.
Yeah, it's set by the three. There's got to be agreement as to the rates. In fact, the reason that was in there was because someone parked there and they were 10 minutes late to redo their thing and the late fee was $59. They were 10 minutes late, and yeah, so that's not going to stand. So that it's like $2, $2.50 an hour, something like that. I'm not sure of the rate, but the rates have to be agreed. The three parties.
Gilmore Township.
It's in effect. That is the ticketing of people that are not or that are parking on public roads, like especially Kitson. That's not in effect till this is passed. We're going to try this.
I'd like to remind everybody, if you're going to speak, come up to the podium, because otherwise we're not recording you. And
Yeah, we're almost done with John anyway, so
all right.
he doesn't want to start over.
Yeah.
We're with you on that. I will say though too that we have a pretty aggressive backup plan that we discussed in closed session that they won't want. And so we want to give them the opportunity to work this out as neighbors, because they're not, and hopefully this will work. But the rates will be decided upon. I think it's like $2.50. I don't know. I just know I use these downtown when I go to court or Mary Free Bed to visit clients or wherever I'm going. And it works well. It's just right on your phone, and so we'll give it a shot before we get hyper aggressive and draconian. Okay, there's more. Come on up.
Okay, thank you.
That was it.
I just was curious how it was going to work, and
You didn't need to get up for that, but thank you.
I want to be official and do it.
All right, give us. This is John Wangler.
John Wangler.
He says thank you. Okay, good.
It's a work in progress.
All right. All right, I will get with Van Essen on that, and I will pass on to him your comment too. All right, so that's that, and there is a provision, by the way, in the agreement that I don't have the agreement in front of me, but with certain amount of notice, any party can elect not to. I think it was a year they have to give it. I don't remember. That was in the last meeting that we had. Okay. Cautiously optimistic, or trust verify. I mean, we'll see. It's going to be better than it is, and yeah. So, all right, who's next? Anybody? Oh no, wait. You just went way out of turn. That's fine. No problem. We don't care. All right, that's that. Pinehurst number 3. This is the application for payment number 3 that's in there. I make a motion that we approve the payment and get Prime paid. Is there support?
Support.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed. Jim, tell us about the new software.
Okay, I've been soliciting bids on the new cemetery software to replace our current Pontum software. The current software is basically a database, and that's all it is. It doesn't allow us to allow the residents to have access through our website or anything. It's kind of manual and clunky. I've contacted BSA, our software provider, for basically everything else we have in the township. They have a cemetery package that is it would do everything we want, but they require that we go to the cloud with it. They're not doing it. They have the cloud, and they have what we currently use as a .net, which is housed in our own server. If we bought this package from BSNA, we'd have to go to the cloud with everything, and our assessor and our treasurer both hate the new system because it doesn't allow them to do what we can do currently with a .net system. Several communities around Kent County that have gone to the cloud, and they hate it. They're struggling with it every week, and things aren't improving. So I'm not saying they threaten my life if I did, but nobody wants the new system. So the third option I had is this SIMS software, and SIMS is that's all they do is cemetery software. The version that I chose allows us to do everything we want now, plus many things we want to do in the future. It'll do a complete mapping of our current cemetery. It'll show the grave sites. It'll even show the position of the casket or the cremains in the grave, whether it's a headstone in mid-grave or at the foot of the grave. So it tells us a lot of things about the graves as we go forward. Now, a lot of this stuff we won't know from the past, but it allows us to go forward. It also will allow access through our website. So once it's up and running, it'll be on the website. A resident can go in and say, I want to see Grandma June's grave. It'll show them where in the cemetery it is, which cemetery, because we have 4 cemeteries. And then it will give them a picture of the headstone and the surrounding area so they can go find their spot if they want to decorate for Memorial Day or whatever the reason is. Find a Grave is a nationwide database that uses a lot of these things to enhance theirs. Many of our cemetery headstones are already on Find a Grave, so some of this stuff we can borrow from them to populate our database. The price is $14,400 in installation costs plus $1,400 a year. The other company I looked at is similar, except they don't have the mapping. You have to do your own mapping, and theirs was 15,000. I don't have it right in front of me. 800 a year, plus the yearly fee for 15,500. Yeah, plus their yearly fee is $4,000 a year per person we have on the computer that does it. With Sims, it's 1,400. So basically saving $2,600 a year in ongoing costs. So it's
You
a little
have-
bit cheaper, and so I'm asking for permission to spend not to exceed $15,000. Is it 15? Yeah,
Well, n-
14.4 plus. Yeah, 14.
well, the 15.5 is
15.5 with the installation.
so you want it to be more than 15.
Yeah, 15.5.
Not to exceed 15.5.
Correct.
1,400 plus the 14.
Oh, 14.
Well, but
15,830. You're looking at the wrong one.
oh, I'm looking at the wrong one.
15,830. I had it written down and I can't find it, so I don't.
Oh, because that was
Yeah,
that was
that's
right
the other
behind. Okay, that was all right.
So it's a
So you want Sims? Is that right?
correct.
At what was not to exceed 15?
15,830.
15,830. Okay, good. All right. What?
Support.
Well, do you want it to
That's a motion. Yep.
16, or are you okay with 15.8?
16 is fine.
Okay,
I mean,
that's
I'm
good.
not gonna spend
That a
that's
friendly
their price.
All right, David wants that. All right, not to exceed 16. That's your motion. Henry just supported it. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Number sign.
Second. Yeah.
A
Second.
little discussion on that, by the way.
Oh, we are. You didn't want to vote yet?
No, I was going to have a little discussion before we voted, but it doesn't matter.
Okay, go ahead.
I remember you had mentioned one time, Jim, that we're looking to expand our cemeteries because we're running out of spots.
Mm-hmm.
And in our current cemeteries right now, the challenge we have is that there might be old graves in the cemetery that we just don't know are there. So this system, does it have that radar that will identify those unmarked graves?
I'm glad you asked.
Okay, all right,
That's part 2 of my
all right. There you go.
Request.
Fair enough.
right after the things on the cemetery. There's a I wish I'd remembered where that was. There's a quote in there for ground penetrating radar.
Yep.
For right by that map. That's for 6,000.
Do you want that too?
Yeah, this is an addition. I had this off. Okay, it's on page 29 of the packet. Ground penetrating radar. It's $6,094 plus $897 for subsurface imaging. So I'm also I make a motion we approve not to exceed $7,000 for ground penetrating radar for the New Canonsburg Cemetery.
I second that.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And in discussion here, if you look a little farther back in it, there's a map of New Canonsburg Cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of show everybody here. This is half of the cemetery here, and there are approximately 119 spaces that have never been sold in that cemetery. Up until about 2 years ago, most of this was all covered with woods, and volunteers have taken the woods back to our property line. So we now have access to those sites, and we want to find out where they are, make sure that nobody really is buried in them, and it'll give us an extra inventory while we develop the new sites of about 119 sites. So that's the reason for that.
I second that because it's something I think it's money well spent.
It's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Next, new business. Judson Farms.
Thank
You're here. Jessica from the Planning Commission. Do you want to just kind of tee this up?
Sure. On March 11th, we had a meeting for this development. Planning Commission noticed there wasn't too much different from when we had a meeting prior to that. but still we're happy to work with the applicant, and we recommend approval for the applicant with a couple conditions: that there would be a sidewalk constructed along either the north or south side. Also, we thought it would be nice if we could coordinate with Kent County, a trail that could connect to the Balk Family Park, and obviously all the requirements provided by the township attorney and engineer as well.
All right, so we have the applicant here, or the applicant's representative here. So you want to walk us through the development?
The applicant here this evening. So this is on that's about 45 acres of property. Her homestead is along the road, and this would be a development that would happen behind the exception of her homestead and the barn that's there now. There's about 2,000 feet of private road that would be installed, servicing 23 new home sites. There'd be a site condominium serviced by the private roadways. We are proposing sanitary sewer be installed from the south, from the development to the south, and there would be individual wells for each site approved by the health department.
Okay.
Primarily, you can see the darker green. Those are the existing trees. Primarily, we're saving as many of those trees as we can. Just a little bit where the road comes through in the middle there that we'll have to take down. So, trying to be sensitive to the site as possible. It is currently farmed, and you should have received a email from Carla here. She is opposed to the conditions of the sidewalk, and would like the board to consider whether you'd be willing to forego that. So I know Jessica was at the planning commission meeting, so I'm pretty sure you were one of them in favor of the sidewalk. So, but she is requesting that at least the board consider if they're in agreement with that requirement.
Was her email in here? Did I miss that?
I don't think
No,
it's
that was
Okay, so
came later.
Carla is against the sidewalks? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Oh, if sidewalk will go nowhere. Is the concept that the sidewalk will go to the connection to the park? Is that why the planning commission wants a sidewalk?
Well, we didn't want to require that the sidewalk connect to because we weren't sure if it made sense to be on the north side or the south side. But the main purpose would be, our master plan says we want more trails, walkways, and the sidewalk just seemed to make sense because there's going to be 23 houses on this development, and having a sidewalk, we thought, since these are executive homes, thinking community minded and what residents want based on our master plan, that it would make sense to require a sidewalk on one side. Terry especially brought up the fact, in the winter time, walking in the streets, if you got a dog, you've got your kids on bikes. Also, my own personal input, I have several friends that live in executive homes, on private streets that don't have sidewalks, and they've said, oh, why didn't they put sidewalks in? So that's my own personal bias on
And
that
the
too.
planning commission voted for the sidewalk? They required that?
Yes, that's what we recommended. Yep.
Okay.
So I would support, I would support the planning commission because they wrote the master plan to put sidewalks in there. It's not a suggestion. It's something we want in the future. And for not putting sidewalks in is like saying that a child's life is not worth it. If she's trying to save money on sidewalks and a kid on a tricycle has to ride in the street, that is not a good idea and never will be a good idea. So for that, I'm absolutely against not putting absolutely putting sidewalks in.
Okay.
They have to be in.
In fact, that was one of the last time we talked about sidewalks was, we haven't voted on it yet, but Bella Woods over here and Mick McGraw agreed to put extend the trail on the properties wherever they are.
Yep. For
Right.
absolutely the same reason.
Then it's basically a sidewalk.
Yep.
In fact, it's wider than the sidewalk. 'Cause
It
it's
is.
kind of a little bit narrower than the
Yeah.
trail, but wider than the sidewalk, and for the same reason.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Do you have anything else?
No, not this time.
Okay. Any questions?
Another idea actually popped in my head
Oh,
that might be worth a discussion. Considering our relationship with Miss Wagner, would it make sense to put some type of performance bond on here as well?
well, that would be up to whoever's making the motion. Did the planning commission consider that?
You know, we didn't even discuss it. It did not come up, cross my mind this weekend.
Uh, just just for clarity on sidewalks, it would be the intent anyway that the sidewalks are constructed as the homes are built, right? So the cost for the sidewalk is borne by the homeowner.
Yeah, the homeowner owns the sidewalk, right? The homeowner maintains it, like in Bella Vista, right?
You're going to hate me for this. No. The sidewalk is in the road right away. In this case, because it's a private road, the sidewalk is owned because it's in the road right away. It's not on the person's private property. It's owned by the association or the HOA or whatever they have to maintain their road. The sidewalk is owned by the same folks.
Yes,
So it's not.
that's what I
It may be up to the homeowner to put it in, but it's up to the HOA to maintain it.
Yeah.
Bella Vista and public streets like Rockford Village, Bella Vista, where they're public streets, the onus is on a township because the road commission will not take ownership. So, and township have been sued in the past for those and have lost. If somebody, if the sidewalk separates and somebody trips, it's up to the township to foot the bill for the repair. It's kind of one that newly sprung on me about 3 years ago because of some issues we had in the new Rockford Village, the new village, the Rockford Hills Village.
Next to a public road.
Correct.
Right.
But those are, because they're on a public road, they're in public right of way. They're our responsibility. This would be on a private road in
Right.
private right of way. So it would be the homeowners association's responsibility.
Right. So the road commission on public roads has said that by some agreement we had to have with them, probably back when you were supervisor, that you agreed to.
No, this dates way before that they have never accepted any responsibility for sidewalks.
Okay.
If
All right.
they will replace them and maintain them if we pay for them.
I'm kidding. It's
But-
fine.
yeah.
It's
Okay,
fine.
Jim, I got a quick question. Who's responsible for the initial installation of the sidewalk?
Generally, it's the homeowner when they build the house.
It really could be whatever we said. We could make it a condition of the development that the sidewalks go in first. My guess is that the applicant would want the homeowner to put it in after they purchase the house, and a condition of the purchase is they have to put a sidewalk in that matches whatever the planning commission said.
That's
Yeah, that's fine.
that's
Seems to
traditionally
make
what
sense to
happens.
me
Yeah.
that it
Or
makes
that-
sense to me to do something with the sidewalks before, because otherwise they're going to be all patchworked and look different because all the homes aren't going to be built at the same time. And let's say what if they only sell 23 or 24 homes and those lots sit empty forever? Does that mean we're going to have no sidewalk there? So there's going to be a sidewalk that's going to be broken by weeds and then sidewalk again.
Part-
So to my thought is it seems to make sense to make the sidewalks a priority. So if they only sell 2 homes in the whole development, there's still a sidewalk.
Part of the problem is if you put the sidewalk in first, it will be broken up and
Sure, you can just cut it and put your driveway in. Yeah.
more
Well-
than that. That's why they don't go in ahead of time.
Okay, but say they go in after the fact, so they won't get torn up by trucks.
Yeah.
If the developer incurs the cost, he or she can recoup the cost in the price of the property.
Well, I think the point isn't that your point, that if we make it part of the sale, that we put it on whoever puts it in, that would be part of the sale, and the responsibility of the homeowner to make sure that is provision of this is complied with, right? And that would be on the homeowner.
Correct. That is how every development I've ever been involved with, and I've been involved in a couple.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way it works. The
Mhm.
homeowner puts it in. Now there are stipulations if, to your point, if it doesn't go in after a period of time, then the developer is required to come in and put in any gaps, any remaining sidewalks.
I don't have a problem with that.
Typically a 5-year time frame or something like that.
Can we write that into our into the plan?
We can write, whoever's going to make the motion can write that into the motion, and if they don't, you could offer it as a friendly amendment.
Okay.
And it's up to them to accept it or not. But getting back to the performance bond, what are your thoughts on that, Jessica? Did you say everything you wanted to say on that?
Well, I was just thinking, what's with the headache what we've gone through with the developer in another project, and I know we have to look at it isolated, but the Kitsing parking situation was such a headache, and you guys were finally at the finish line. I know that I was before my time on the planning commission, and maybe you guys can weigh in a little bit more on that, but hearsay, I heard that there was times when items were said that they were completed when actually they were not completed with that project.
You talked to Ed about that,
And so-
and Julie and Tricia.
It seems like it would be a
What form have you thought about? What form that would take? How that would work? Whether it would be a letter of credit or would it be an actual bond? Do you know?
I have not given that any thought.
If you're inclined to make that part of your motion, I would suggest you keep it open and say that it would require sidewalks as discussed here, with being the responsibility of the homeowner. But I think we would leave it as a final site. This has to go back to the planning commission for final site plan, right?
No, it didn't. The site plan.
This is site condos.
The site.
Oh,
plan.
this is site.
Yeah,
condo.
it's on a PUD.
Well, then I would suggest that the motion, whatever, if you are making a motion to approve this, I would suggest that you have you mention the sidewalks, that however you want to do it, because it's your motion. But if you're okay with the homeowners putting it in, with there's got to be some kind of time frame that they would have to be completed before the developer has to put them in. So I don't know how you want to word that. And then, and I don't know how Todd would vote on that, but we'll find out. And then the other thing would be on the performance bond. What I would suggest you do is that you say, if you're inclined to want to require a performance bond, that you say a performance bond to be analyzed and determined by the township attorney and the engineers and the applicant. Okay, does that make sense?
Kind of. Yes.
We're about to find out. So, all right. Do we have it? Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so one side's going to benefit.
Rita Proctor, 7860 Silver Hills. I live on the north side. Can you explain to me a little bit more what a performance bond is and what that means? Does it mean anything to me in terms of being adjacent and touching the property line?
No. Well, it does.
Potentially, maybe
it does.
Something negative.
It does. No, not negative. It does. If you live adjacent to that, it does mean something to you, but it's a positive. That a performance bond typically means that if they have to put a bond up, we required it over here on the town square. That if they didn't do certain things, which they didn't, by the way, that they put a bond up, and then we take that bond money and we finish it timely. So it's timely. So there's not significant delays. Mm-hmm. And it just gives us more, it's another tool we have to make sure that the development is done timely. And Jessica does have a point, not to cast aspersions on anybody, but there were issues with the other development down the Antique Mall, that there were issues with landscaping and signage, all that. So and what this does is make sure that it's done timely. And if there are any issues that they say, well, we can't do this by this time, then we will take the bond money, do it ourselves for what's in the value of the bond or less, depending on what our engineers say it costs. So it makes sure that the development moves along, which would benefit you as a neighbor.
moves along correctly in accordance with the
100% right.
Okay. Well, I just want to voice my
Yes.
agreement with the performance bond.
Okay.
Adjacent homeowner.
Yep.
Thank you.
Sure. Anybody else while we're at it? Oh, come on up, John.
John Wengler, 6911 Goldenrod, President, Boswick Lake Association. I'd like to second Jess's motion for a performance bond related to all aspects of this development, given the history with this party. I've got pictures on my phone. If anybody, if I need to, I'll send them to Timothy about broken silt fences or, not maintained silt fences, the things that you were referring to. But, we have a lot of sediment in the lake from that point in time where it was washing into there unabated. So this is the head of the Bear Creek watershed, I believe. Did we determine that? I saw that was a question that Jeff Twyman asked, right?
I know that it's up there somewhere.
It's I believe it's the very head of the Bear Creek watershed. Yeah. And we've got to protect our lake and make sure that the developers are adhering to that and we're not getting silt in the lake. I know we had an issue with that earlier with another development in that area, and and that there not only be adherence but enforcement and penalties if it's not. We only have one lake there, and we need to protect it. I don't think we've done as good as we could in the past, and so I'm very concerned about this given the history, and appreciate and support Jess's motion for that. So thank you.
I noticed you seconded her motion, but she hasn't made one yet.
Oh.
No, I know. That's okay. I was really
Thanks, John.
confused. So, but then I figured out what you were doing. So it's okay. I get it. No, I get it. No,
Are you running for trustee, John? Do we need to know?
Yeah, I didn't know we have 8 trustees tonight. So it's okay. That's good. More the merrier. Okay. Well, did you have anything else? Any questions?
I do. Todd, there was some letters that went out to nearby homeowners about permitting for, as far as like filling in some wetlands around the area.
Yeah.
Is there anything you can speak on to that just briefly about that, as far as the permitting that might have happened or what is going to take place for that?
Correct. But there's really just one area, one impact that's here. It's the wetland border that runs through here. That's where the road crosses. It's the wetland area. And it is a for a eagle permit to make that cross. So those are the only impacts that we have.
Anything else? All right.
We have a lady in the audience.
Oh, come on up. Why not?
I'm Meg Hackett. I live at 7674 Ramsdale Drive.
Mhm.
And I'm not clear on the recommendation, that, as I understand it from the Planning Commission, was that the applicant ensure that this development includes sidewalks. And then I found it confusing when there was some discussion about the responsibility of the homeowners to put in the side. I mean, this is, if this board is approving the recommendation of the Planning Commission, I didn't understand the Planning Commission to be saying anything other than that the applicant needs to ensure that there are sidewalks here.
No, I agree. What is not clear to me is, was there discussion about who puts them in? What's the timing? I will say typically sidewalks are put in my experience doing this, although I'm not an expert in any of this, but in my experience, the homeowner puts the sidewalk in or is responsible for putting the sidewalk in at the time their house is built. So I think that your motion is going to say something about sidewalks. There will be sidewalks there. I just don't know what the motion's going to look like yet about the timing of it.
Right. But I think the discussion about the responsibility of the homeowner to put it in confuses and triangulates the responsibilities and relationships of folks. If this board is approving the application from the developer's responsible to put in the sidewalks. If the developer wants to fulfill that responsibility through some kind of an agreement with the homeowners, they can do so, but we don't have this board doesn't have a relationship with the homeowners.
Well, right. Well, but are you concerned that we couldn't ensure that they go in that way?
I'm saying that I find the discussion having muddied the recommendation that came forward from the planning commission. And I just think the motion needs to be really clear.
Oh,
that
I
it's the
think so too. That's why.
responsibility of the developer to ensure that sidewalks are put in.
Oh,
How that developer fulfills that responsibility is on them. But I think this discussion of it being the responsibility of the homeowners muddies the potential motion
well,
coming forward.
no, I get that. It muddies it, but we have to discuss it because if the motion just said they have to put sidewalks in and we didn't talk about it, then we will not have really an expectation of when they're going to go in or an understanding of what is there an agreement. Now, so we have to talk about it. And I know it makes it look muddy, but till we vote on things, it often looks muddy because we're just exploring all the avenues to make sure that it's done right, which we do. In this case, we could say that I think the sense I get is there's consensus on the board that there's going to be sidewalks there. The question is, if we said we will require sidewalks and we don't discuss this and make it part of our motion, unless Jessica does, she's going to make the motion one way or the other. I think we want to get an expectation on all sides about when they're going to go in. For example, they're going to go in. Typically what happens is at some point, if all the houses aren't sold, in my experience, what happens is when a developer turns a development over to an association, things that aren't done, those become the responsibility of the association. That's probably what, is that your experience too?
Like I said, it's typically a 5-year time frame.
Yeah. But if you want to put a time frame on it, that's fine. But it just depends on what you want to put in the motion. It sounds to me like there's consensus here that sidewalks are a very attractive idea for the reasons Todd said, and probably what was said at the Planning Commission. But if your motion, if you want to require them, I don't know when you would require them if it's not the homeowners, because when they sell a lot before they get a building permit, they also have to agree to put a sidewalk in. And if they don't do that, then they don't get a building permit. That's the an occupancy permit. So they can't take possession of their house till the sidewalk is in.
Right.
And that's the easiest way to enforce it. My problem is if you require them to put a sidewalk in when they're, let's say, doing the road, for example, the problem is that when you build a house and you get the equipment onto the property, you're going to destroy them anyway.
Correct.
And I think that is unfair to a developer. And the homeowner, if they're going to be responsible for putting two of them in. So I'm okay, at least for me, one vote. The concept of making it the responsibility that each property will have a sidewalk before any occupancy permit is granted, I'm fine with that. It's just the most workable.
The question we have to answer too is it on the north side or south side of the road? We're not going to require it on both sides of the road.
No.
Which side?
Do you have a preference on which side you would rather have? South side? Is the planning commission okay with the south side?
We didn't want to put a restriction on that. We just wanted it on one side.
Where is this entrance to the ballpark going to be?
South side.
Very southwest side.
Well, wouldn't it make sense
The
to do it
Ball
on the
Family
south
Park
side then?
property lines up with that south.
I don't know. I don't know. It sounds to me also that I don't know that there's a preference on the board of which side you want. Couldn't we leave that up to the developer
Yes.
to decide the best location for the sidewalk?
As long as there's not half on one side and half on the other side, we're good with that.
Problem being, if we put the restriction that the sidewalk has to be in before the occupancy permit is issued, you need to identify which lots have that restriction on them.
Well, that he would. The developer would.
Well, we need to put that in our ordinance or in our approval of the site plan.
Put it on the south side.
Okay.
You're
Todd,
okay
good
with that anyway. All right, do it.
All right. Are we ready for a motion, or do we?
I don't know. You're going to make
Jess, do you want time to do a little more research on whether it's a letter of credit or a bond before you make your motion?
We don't need to handle that tonight.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Because that can be, as long as she, if she wants to put in this a requirement for a performance bond, that can be worked into the
the language. Yeah.
And I would want the attorney to make that
Well,
recommendation
he's going to,
anyways.
yeah,
It's-
right.
It's not.
Yes, go ahead.
Bill Mass, 7157 Davies. I think you guys have a bunch of good ideas here. I speak in support of the homeowners doing the sidewalks when they do them. Every house contractor is going to be driving heavy equipment, or they just don't survive that process. They have to adjust some at the edges. That's kind of common practice. So I don't have a problem with that. I do think the idea of having a 5-year outside window for the developer, having to finish in the gaps, all these things you can't.
Do you want to start? Sorry, can I do that one at a time?
Sure.
So can you put that in your motion? That makes sense. 5-year, 5-year window on the what is that for the sidewalks?
Is for the sidewalks.
Okay.
For the houses that haven't been
Built.
and occupied yet.
Okay.
Having it required of the lots that are to have the sidewalks as a condition of the building permit, and then having the sidewalk itself be in place before the condition of occupancy makes perfect sense. In Somerset, and I guess in Davis's groups, Blakely and Belding Roads both have sidewalks in them. Seems to be some of the, and in fact, I think at Somerset, sidewalk and trail were both required of us, and
Yes, the trade. Right.
we live to fight another day after installing them.
Yes.
One
That's right.
house in there bought the lot next to him, and never was going to build on it. And I think how do you anticipate everything, but maybe that would fall under the developer's responsibility unless somebody else had bought one in the meantime. Then that would fall under that lot owner's responsibility. And if somebody just bought an empty lot, maybe that person would have to put sidewalks in within 3 years of the purchase, or after first being purchased.
Wouldn't that
Performance
fall though into the if someone bought a lot and didn't want to build on it, wouldn't that fall into the 5-year thing that we would
Yeah,
put on?
maybe no later than, but
Yeah.
it seems fair to make that lot owner's responsibility instead of falling back in the.
I would think that wouldn't the so you know this better than I. Wouldn't the developer say, "Hey, look, if we've got this requirement, it's the responsibility of the homeowner. I have to abide by this 5-year thing."
But there wouldn't be any teeth in it.
You know. So how do you word that?
Good question.
If you live on the south side, you have to have a sidewalk, and you want.
Well, no. So the question. So
That's obscure.
the issue you're getting at is if somebody built a lot on the south side or bought a lot and they said they bought it, they just wanted it, and they aren't building, and we're required that before they get an occupancy permit and a building permit, they have to agree to the sidewalk. But what if they don't build? So then you got a big gap there. I say, well, let's just leave it up to the developer that they've got to close that gap within 5 years of the approval of this thing, right? And that's on them.
I want to applaud your concept of installing or requiring a performance bond on this project. I think, especially here, it's warranted. Appreciate that. I mentioned the 2 projects that also had sidewalks, and then don't forget that there are common areas in any development like this that aren't on homeowners' lots, future homeowners' lots. So the sidewalks in those would be installed by the developer. Maybe as a requirement prior to the first lot sale or something like that.
Where are those?
Anything coming off the public road, if it doesn't start, if it only runs on homeowners' lots, then it doesn't get you from the road right away to the first homeowner's lot, unless those are already in place, which I doubt.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm missing
The
that.
easternmost section on the south side of the
The
road,
easternmost section, south
between
side.
lot 22 and.
Well, wouldn't it start on lot? I can't read that from here. Is the first lot on the south side to the east 22?
Mm-hmm.
23? Wouldn't you say that the sidewalk on lot 23 starts at the easternmost boundary of the lot?
Right, but would the township, if it's requiring connection out to the public road right away, not want it connected up to the public road right away?
We wouldn't want that connected to the public. You're talking about Young?
Young, yes.
Up to Young Avenue.
We don't want that connected to Young, I don't think.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because there's no trail, there's no nothing on Young.
Young is not a walkable road.
Yeah, but I would say that most sidewalks do go to the road.
Somerset ran all along Building Road.
Yeah, most sidewalks do go all the way to the road. It wouldn't make sense to just
Where's it
dead end it or terminate it and just have grass out to the road. Because people are going to end up walking into that road.
To do what?
Cross to go over to Bella Vista or
get on the what?
bus or yeah.
Okay, so the sidewalk on the south side has to extend to the road right of way, or
Yes.
to the road, or where do you put them? I don't know.
I would say the road right away. And you never know what
Well,
the
then
future's
it's going to stop before the road.
well, it'll go all the way to the road is my point.
Well,
You
wait
never
a
know what
minute,
the
though.
future's
There's
going to
a
bring.
I'm sorry.
Someday there might be a trail there.
As,
You never
as
know.
developers, we build what we lament as sidewalks to nowhere, and you drive by 10 years later, and they're all connected. Walker everywhere,
So does it go to the road right away or the road?
road right away.
All right, well, send it to the road.
Currently, Orchard View, if you look at it, their
Wherever the
sidewalk
township
comes
is
down to
building
Belding
south
Road,
sidewalk.
and it goes down Belding Road to the Bella Vista property, and basically dead ends.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's not unheard of to do that.
To do what now? This?
Yeah, to go to the road.
Who's
What
going
if-
to be responsible for the cost of that?
That's the developer then, because it's not.
That's part of the developer response. What if we just took it to the eastern? Well, how far away is the road from? Well, then you're going to have to cross that wetland again.
So
Right.
if you go to the road, right across the road is Eldridge that goes over to Bostwick Lake. And a lot of people walk around Bostwick Lake. So what will probably happen is I'm sure people in that development will cross Young. And that's a quiet road there that you can walk on and then walk all around.
Are we going to put road crossing signs there?
Probably not.
I mean, pedestrian crossing signs?
No, we don't have that. We don't have that everywhere else.
Road Commission did that on Sunfish.
What's that?
Road Commission did that on Sunfish and Somerset.
That's right, because that's part of the trail.
Crossing here.
If people are going
That's the
to,
Cannon Trail.
if we are putting a sidewalk to the road because we expect people to cross the road and we're not going to put a pedestrian crossing on there, does that make sense?
Well, there's one. So, for an example, Somerset Meadows on the east exit onto Sunfish Avenue, that sidewalk runs all the way to Sunfish, and ends there. And then people walk over to that development on the east side of Sunfish
It was
Avenue.
required at the time by the township.
If that goes, once it hits the road right away, then that sidewalk is our responsibility.
Just from the right of way.
Right.
But if it ends at the right of way, then it's up to, if we build it farther than that, then it's up to.
Cy, what do you think about the impact of a sidewalk? Now you're putting more work through a wetland.
Well, I think it's important to connect it to the road.
Okay.
As far as the wetlands go, the part of that permit included that this developer has to buy credits somewhere else where there might be a wetland created. So just create more wetland.
I don't know.
This credit would be larger than that they'd have to buy, which is understandable. But
Well,
I think to Bill's point, if you just end it at the end of the development, it's just going to be really a sidewalk to nowhere in that sense. But if it at least goes to Young, it would connect this road to Young. It would connect a walkable path to Young, bus stop, anybody that wants to walk their neighborhood.
well, on the
Don't know why we would end it just at that development.
where's it going to end on the west side?
Wouldn't it go all the way to Young?
Yeah, on the west side, it's
On
going
the
to end
west
at Bulk Park. So there's residents on Young that probably would use that sidewalk to get to Bulk Park.
Isn't that into the cul-de-sac, the line that heads down?
Isn't that a private lot though?
Yeah.
We
So
don't.
it's going to go to nowhere.
It's going to go to Young though. That's not going to.
No, I know Young.
Yeah,
I'm talking about
right.
the west side.
But
Got it.
to walk on
I
that
mean,
sidewalk.
the west side. Yeah.
The west side, it's going to Bulk Park.
Yeah.
Is it going to go into Bulk Park or up
Yes.
to Bulk Park?
On the other
That's what the Planning Commission approved.
Is that what they approved?
The hope is that they would all connect with each other and work together, you know, with,
With
the
the
other
county?
with the county to connect those two developments together. Just building for the future, thinking of, you know, the walkability and how important that is with our master plan, and just, you know, modeling after other communities that have really put emphasis on building these infrastructure things now.
So, what language are you going to use here? It's going to go to the east to the road right of way, and then to the west where? To the park?
Well, it's two separate things. So the sidewalk's one thing, and then the trail is another component.
Is the
of
trail
this.
to the park on your property?
Trail between 14 and 13 to allow
Oh, the lots?
between lots 13 and 14.
Oh, so you would just take it to that between those two lots? That's fine.
Well, yeah, but it's the commission went, I believe, went one step further and it said, well, you got to work with the parks to somehow connect it, right? I don't understand that.
The hope was that it could connect to the park, because I know they're doing trails out there, and so the whole part, sticking with our master plan, saying if we can get this development, which is going to be, I'm sure, a great asset to our community, what do our residents want? What do people want? They want to be able to get to the trail and to the park. And so that's where
Well,
the
there
thought
is
process came.
between 13 and 14.
Right.
Correct.
That's good enough for me.
I think Todd, for the getting to the park, you know, you're trying to work with lots and lot lines. There's a lot of real estate at the park. They can make that entrance point anywhere. So it's easier for the park to connect with your trail than to make you try to connect with a trail at the Bulk Family Park, if you're following me.
Part of the issue is there's a wetland right along that edge.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
we'd like the ability to get people there if the development, wants that access, but we can't make there is no trail that's from the park that's coming up to this.
Right.
Right.
So the idea was just to get them down to the park property, period.
That's
Okay.
fine.
And then they can do what they want.
We could overmanage this thing, and I don't want to do
Yep, that's true.
So it would be to the east to Young and to the west to the access between 13 and 14 to the park.
Correct.
Fine.
That's why one of the reasons we were saying the south side. But
That's fine. That makes sense.
But-
You all right? Do you have that, Jessica?
Yeah, I just have a follow up question on that. So you're saying though that where you have the trail right now, there's actually a wetland. So you're saying that was one of the reasons why. This is the first time I'm hearing that there was a wetland through there. So
Keep it down if you don't mind. I can't hear. Thanks. You're just getting people to the park, and then they're going to do their thing.
that was the original idea.
So
Fine.
those little tan line, the one going down and the one going kind of off and up to the left there, those are sidewalk trails, or those are driveways?
So they put a price on it.
Where's 14? Right there. So that's what's going. Okay.
Okay.
So the sidewalks would connect on the west to the trail between 13 and 14
So then
for access to Bulk Family Park.
then we would also need the sidewalk along 14 and that other lot that's the farthest one to the south on the east side of that
Uh,
trail.
I mean, I think
Because otherwise you don't have a sidewalk there.
well, you don't need a sidewalk.
It's a driveway.
Is that a? Yeah, just take it to the trail.
So you'd be walking down somebody's driveway?
No, there's a driveway and a trail. He said.
That's a private drive. Oh, okay. I can't see that from here, but okay.
Yeah, no, I'm fine.
I see.
Are you okay with that, Jessica?
of course.
That makes perfect sense.
Okay.
Yep.
That makes more sense.
Yeah. Go ahead.
In terms of the performance bond that we just discussed a second ago, how would a person like me know what the parameters end up being and whether they're following through with them and hitting all the marks that are made, everyone agrees to?
I'm sorry. I just got a text from our attorney. Sorry. That's why I apologize. I wasn't. We don't need an ordinance. We don't need a public hearing. That's for zoning.
Okay.
So we're good. So we're fine on that. I'm sorry. Would you mind repeating that?
My question was in regards to the performance bond, how would someone like me as an adjacent homeowner know what the parameters are that are
We will
eventually
publish it.
set, and then like knowing that the developer is meeting them and all those sorts of things? Is it just an email to the board or an email to Edmund to keep
Edmund.
up on that? Or
Edmund, you can go to any planning commission meeting and ask Ed for an update, or you can call Ed, you can email Ed, you can come see Ed
okay,
for any of that, any of the above or all the above.
okay,
You
that's
can
my
do all
question.
the above in the same day, even if you want. So,
That was my
I mean, Ed's here to answer questions. So,
Well, I didn't know if it was something to Ed directly or something to the, like, who ends up setting those parameters? The board or Edmund works with the developer?
well, with the
And the
performance bond, the attorney will set the parameters of it,
Mhm.
and then those will be communicated to the developer. Isn't that the way it works, Bill? The attorney through us, well, we through the attorney will set the performance bond. He communicates that so that we know it, the developer knows it pursuant to this that we approved.
And
Yeah, the engineer and the attorney will get together. That's one of the things. They have to work together on what the bond is gonna look like and how much and what's gonna be required. I don't think it's gonna be too onerous because it's basically just, well, no, with the roads and the sidewalks too. But that'll be communicated and it's public information. So if you want, you can even come to, what you do anyway, come to board meetings and say, hey, what's the status of that? We won't know, but we will get you your answer.
When you said we work through with the attorney, we is the board, we is the planning commission, we is just the engineer.
Well, what's going to happen, I think, is that the attorney will get, if we approve this, the engineer and the attorney work together. The attorney will get with the developer and say, here's the amount of your performance bond. He will draft the bond pursuant to the authority that if we vote for this.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's part of the approval. Isn't that the way it works, Bill?
And you just basically certify the bond requires you to prove that you completed the plans that
Yeah, right. And the other thing, I think,
read the bond can be released.
right, and you don't get a permit to start working till the bond has been given to the township, right?
Okay.
And it isn't released until the project's done.
Yeah. Yeah. Whether it's a line of credit or an actual bond or whatever, surety bond, whatever. But there will be a bond to ensure that it's done
Okay.
and done pursuant to the plan. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
But anytime you can ask any of us.
Okay.
But Ed will have the answer.
You guys ready?
I don't know. You're making the motion.
All right, I'd like to make a motion. I would like to make a motion that we approve the Judson Farms site condominium with the condition that sidewalks are implemented on the south side of the road, all the way from the cul-de-sac to Young's right-of-way.
I think you want to amend that, make a
You
friendly
do?
amendment. Yeah.
Oh.
You want to go from Bulk Family Park up
No,
between 13, 14.
no, you don't. You
Well,
want to go to the access to Bulk Family Park between 13 and 14 to the west.
Yep.
And then the right of way at Young on the east. So that's a friendly amendment? Is that okay?
Got that, Nancy? Thank you.
She's got it. Yeah, go on.
Also, the developer will have a 5-year window to have them all installed,
Sidewalks.
sidewalks.
Yes.
Also, for item number 2, there will be a trail between lot 14 and 13 that connects to Bulk Family Park.
That's already there, though, right?
Yeah.
That's on the plan. But okay, go on. That's already on the plan. But go
Oh
ahead.
yeah, that's right. So basically, item number 2 on there is
Yep. You're good so far.
alrighty. And then also a performance bond or line of credit will be set by our attorney with planning commission and board guidance. And then everything that the township attorney and township engineer requires must be satisfied.
Well, on the performance bond, it doesn't have to be a line of credit. That's just one form the bond can
Right.
take. So
Okay.
I think what you want to say, I offer
No,
this as a friendly
I
amendment,
want you to give me guidance, boss.
is that the details of the performance bond will be worked out between the attorney and the engineer and communicated to the developer. And that proof of the bond must be provided before any construction permits are approved.
Perfect.
Did the planning? Are you done?
I hope so.
Okay.
Before you need a support.
Not yet. Not. Yeah, we do. We need a support.
I'll support
because that was a motion. Okay. So now that it's been moved and supported, did the planning commission? Do we know what the dimensions of these sidewalks are?
Standard issue sidewalks.
Standard. Is there such a thing as a standard issue sidewalk? I don't.
5 feet is what I read.
What is it?
5 feet wide.
All right. Would you put that in your motion too?
Yes.
All right. So standard 5-foot sidewalks. Are there standard depths and things and bases and
4 inches.
what do you call?
4 inches.
Is there? Let me just ask that. Is there an industry standard for sidewalks like this?
Everyone I've ever done is 5 feet wide and 4 inches thick.
There's that. Add that. Okay. Thank you for making a motion for
Thank
us.
you.
While we're talking at that 5-year time frame, can we have a start date?
Date of.
Date of first building permit, something that,
It's a great idea.
What is norm for that, Bill?
that's it.
Huh?
For
First lot sale. Is that okay?
Something.
Something.
If it's today, you know, it might be done for a year.
Well, I think I'd like to have it be the September board meeting. It would start September board meeting 4 years ago. I'm kidding. Okay. I mean, it's a little onerous, but okay. So the 5-year window for the commencement of the sidewalks, or the 5-year window for the completion of the sidewalks commences from the closing of the first lot. Right? Why not? What else? Anybody else have anything else? Well, that confused the hell out of me. So, Nancy, any other comments or anything? Anybody else have anything? Uh-huh. The what? First unit sale. How about a roll call, Nancy?
Jim,
Yes.
Cy,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Jessica,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Todd,
Yes.
David.
Yes.
There we go. Go start building houses. All right, that was way more painful than it needed to be. But that's all right. I lost my second page. What's next?
Zoning board of appeals.
Oh, zoning board of appeals. We had a memo from Ed, didn't we?
Yep.
What did Ed say?
Page 89.
What? Oh, Rita. Do you want to serve on the zoning? You're an alternate now. All those in favor of appointing Rita Proctor to the zoning board of appeals, say aye.
Aye.
Well, wait a minute.
You really actually needed a motion.
I actually need a motion. I voted on. I had everybody vote on the motion that was inside of my head. All right, I nominate Rita Proctor to a full position on the zoning board of appeals.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Okay, good. You want to get sworn in while you're here? He'll do it. Excellent. Well,
This time we're going to do it in front of the microphone. So
I've heard you're doing well on there.
Thank
you.
Thank you, Mr.
Use your right hand.
It's a
I
tough job.
solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of this state, and I will faithfully perform the duties of the office of Cannon Township Zoning Board of Appeals member in and for the Township of Cannon, County of Cannon, State of Michigan, according to the best of my abilities, so help me God.
I do.
Thank you for agreeing to do that. Appreciate it.
Sign right there on that top line. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We should have debated that for 20 minutes. Where's my second page? All right, what's next? What do we got? Oh yeah, this is the MIA resolution. It's kind of cryptic, but we do this every year to honor the missing in action. So I make a motion that we approve the MIA resolution for 2025.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Can you make sure we get that Nancy to the MIA folks? Okay, good. All right, Jim. Aren't we on the art logo thing?
Oh, I had a real. I'm trying to do more things to get our students involved in local government, get them to understand what local government is. Most of our residents, if you ask them where they live in Rockford. They don't live in Cannon Township. So I went to the art teacher and I said, I'd like to come up with a contest to design a logo for Cannon Township. Not an official logo, nothing. I've designed some T-shirts for the staff if we want to do it to wear to conferences and a pancake breakfast, that sort of stuff. And so I had art school at Rockford. They all came up with a design, and I offered personally, I offered the prize money myself. $100 for first prize, 50 for second, and 25 for third. And we have 3 winners that were the this is the stack of, if anybody wants to see these afterwards, this is the stack of logos that kids came up with. Basically, I asked for a 4 or 5 inch square, something that would fit on a shirt. And there were the 3 winners were, I got them here. Oh, yeah, okay, they're on the board. The first one is young lady, Coretti. And that's what I think I pulled it out there, but okay, here it is. I have their names here. No, I didn't put their names. Anyway, the teacher sent me their names, and the parents okayed the use of them, but I know that Steve's neighbor Coretti won the first prize. They were voted on by our staff, and they picked those 3 as the winners. I don't know we'll ever use them for anything, because what I had hoped for was camera ready art, and this is more of an art drawing, and so I got to do quite a bit of work to get that. So
these are all really good.
Yeah, there's a bunch of really good ones here. So it was just it's a way of getting the students introduced to Cannon Township. I'm also working with a government teacher, government or whatever they call it nowadays. I want to get the kids involved in elections. I want to present to so they understand what elections are, how we run them, invite them to our accuracy and our testing for our equipment, so they understand how the voting equipment works, and just be as transparent as we can about elections and how secure they really are, how much security goes into everything we do to make sure that nothing happens that's bad to our voting system. So this is just my first step, and I hope to encourage the kids more to get involved with their community and recognize where they're from. So again, the prize money was put up by me. I was told it could not be township money, and so it's all privately funded. So with that, I'm sending out checks to the 3 winners this week. Hopefully they would be here tonight, but I guess they all had schools out. Everybody left town. So
Cool.
that's that.
All right. Excellent. Next up is Jim, walk us through Silver Lake fireworks permit.
Silver Lake has requested a permit for fireworks for what's the numbers on that? What page number?
95.
95 to 98. We are on their insurance on this one, right?
Yes. They submitted their application on April 29th. I got it, wasn't quite complete, so we finished it up. I have a copy of their insurance, and Cannon Township is listed as an additional pro forma payee. So I make a motion we approve. Oh, the site fireworks for Silver Lake is July 4th, 10 o'clock, and they have not set an alternate date. They're going to be put off from the middle of the lake, and so I make a motion we approve the application for Silver Lake fireworks.
Second.
Support?
Yep, Jess supported it.
Somebody? Oh, did you already?
She did.
I didn't hear you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. Now Henry Bostwick Lake wants a conditional approval, right? Okay. That a motion? When is it? Third. All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Did you get a second on that?
Did I get a support on it?
I think you did.
Did I?
I can
Jessica did.
support it.
All right. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Now, Henry, you're going to let them know that they can't do them till we get the insurance with us as an addition. Oh, John, yeah, you're here. You'll get that for us, right?
Yeah, every year we come back.
I know you do.
Yeah, you know, Bella Vista actually turned theirs in February, so.
Let's stop that. Anyway, All right, good. We're done with that. Case correspondence. There, we got a nice one from Mark Radius because they went through a lot.
Steve,
over
there's
there.
one more thing.
There is
What
one.
do I have? Oh, the one that's going to take so long. Go
Yes.
ahead, Todd. Walk us.
I'll try
through
not to take too long. So last thing on the agenda is we've had two parties approach the township about donating benches on the bike trail. So in that process, I started to investigate to see if we had a bench donation policy, which is required by municipalities. It kind of just outlines things like what are we going to maintain, what happens if it gets vandalized, how long are we going to support it, those kinds of things. So we didn't have one. So I had to study Kent County parks, a lot of other local municipalities. I studied all their policies, created this policy, had Brian Newhoff do some engineering renderings to show how the concrete will be poured, the size to make it handicap accessible with a pad on the side. So all of that's done. So really, I guess I'm bringing it before the board to either amend if you have any amendments you want to put to it, or accept as is, so that we can I would take the money from these folks that want to put park benches on.
I
the
think it's
trail.
a wonderful thing.
Awesome.
You want to make a motion?
I will make a motion that the policy is accepted as written.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Beautiful. All right, now.
That wasn't too bad, was it?
No, it wasn't. Usually you're, okay. You should do that more often.
Mark Radius.
We got a nice email from Mark Radius about our engineer and the contractors over there on the work they did ahead of schedule and under budget,
For Pinehurst, yep.
which we do. So that's it. So, committee, are there any committee reports?
I've got good news for Park and Rec. So earlier this evening, I met with the Rockford School Board, and they approved an easement at Meadow Ridge Elementary for the Keys expansion, which for those that don't know, we've been working on a plan to expand the Cannon Trail down Keys westward to Meadow Ridge Elementary. It'll run around the east side of that boundary of Meadow Ridge, then along the north side of that boundary. So they approved the easement tonight. So thank you for partnering with us, Rockford Public Schools.
Okay. Who's next with a committee report?
Planning Commission is meeting tomorrow night to go over the site plan landscaping for Rockford storage.
Oh yeah, that's Rockford. That's coming to us when? Isn't that coming up?
Let's hope. I don't know when it's coming back to us, but I know we're looking at. We asked for it to come back to the Planning Commission.
From us.
Correct. So now it's going back, and then
Have we voted on it yet?
No.
I think it's going to come back
It's coming
next
here.
meeting. Yeah, I
Next
would
meeting?
assume it would be next meeting
Okay.
if Ed approves.
Okay. All right. Any other committee reports? No? Comments by board members? Henry, what do you have?
On solar. I want to do a little research. I have an alternative plan
All right.
I would like to look at.
Knock yourself out.
Thank you.
Impress us.
Yep.
All right.
I think we'd
Jessica, what do
welcome
you
that.
have?
Yeah, thank you.
Is that it, Henry? All right. David?
Summer tax bills will be arriving the first week of July.
Oh, good.
Good. Cy? Todd?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
I have one item tonight, for the board especially. We are currently our internet provider is Spectrum Internet, Spectrum Charter Cable, and it goes through a modem to a Wi-Fi and all this stuff here tonight. We've been working with Verizon on I think it's a cellular basis. It's way above my pay grade technology wise, but it's about 4 times as fast as Charter. Charter the other day was running at 0.2 upload speed, and it just wasn't working. I mean, the phone system was down. They switched it over to the Verizon, and immediately everything was up, and we were running at about a 90 upload speed, 90 megabits. So, like, I don't know how many thousands of percent that is. But tonight we've been running on Verizon the whole night, not Spectrum. and Tim didn't yell at me, so I'm guessing the system stayed up the whole time. So we're gonna parallel these two for a couple of months, and then hopefully we'll just get rid of Spectrum, and that'll save us about $200 a month. The difference in the price between Verizon and Spectrum.
Who was it that told you like 6 months ago that's the direction you want to take is getting rid of Spectrum?
Henry.
Yeah, do you? Okay.
Um, yeah. The other thing with this device that we've got that's taken the Verizon signal, with the new election laws, we are confident that we will be using a live e-poll book instead of the dead one that we had to sync up the next day. So when poll workers come in, you come in, log in, it goes right to Lansing, comes back and says, "Yep, you're a registered voter. You haven't voted absentee. Okay, here's your ballot. Go vote." We've got two of these devices. One will go in Bella Vista, and one will go in Crossroads Church. Yeah, the Wesleyan
where you
Church.
vote.
Yeah, where the voting. So those EPBs will be able to run live online with a state. And it's a private network, so it's not like it's running through a public network. So there's no access to it other than our poll books. So it'll be totally secure. But that's why we're doing this pilot, to make sure everything runs smooth before we get to election, especially next year with a gubernatorial primary and election in August and November, because that's probably going to be almost as big as the presidential this year.
Are you going to get all your surgeries out of the way before the next
I hope
election?
so. We had a question?
I got a question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, right. Hot dogs. It's not in the cable system.
Not in the cable.
Like Spectrum is.
No, it's not in the cable.
It's a hot box, right?
I don't know what.
It's wireless.
It's wireless,
Yeah.
correct. But well,
Yeah.
but our signal, their signal comes into a antenna array in the computer room and goes right through our firewall into our server. So everything that we're doing that's hardwired is still hardwired right to our server.
But then the server goes to hot box.
Yeah.
Is that attached to the tower?
It'd be really handy if we had a cell tower that was close by.
Yeah, that's one reason it works so well here. Because if you take your cell phone and in any of them, you're going to get just unbelievable service right here, because the cell tower is 100 yards away.
And Jim, actually, you're saving more than $200, because if we stayed with Spectrum to upgrade it, you'd have to go to fiber optics, which is crazy.
Yeah,
Do you know why clerks are like engineers?
They talk too much?
Well, because I had this, a friend of mine said one time, "My gosh, you ask an engineer what time it is and they'll tell you how a watch is made."
Anyway, that's what we're doing. I just wanted everybody to know that we haven't been sitting on our hands. Every time it rains, the phone system quits working. And you talk to anybody here and they say, "I'm sorry, you're breaking up. I can't hear you."
Okay, you're cut off from comments.
All right.
All right.
One more thing, since
Oh.
Mr. Our clerk can share this, but on June 12th, isn't there a roundabout meeting happening?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we put that on the website.
It's on a public meeting at the Wesleyan Church at 6.
Hey, can you make sure that got on Facebook too?
Yeah.
We
It
put it
is.
on
I
the
saw
web-
it, and I put that
Good.
on.
Okay, good.
So that there's a roundabout coming at 10 Mile and
Myers Lake. Yeah. Yeah.
and Pine Island and Myers Lake.
Oh, Pine Island.
Pine Island and 10 Mile will also. So,
Chief, what do you have? Anything for us? Nothing. All right. Public comment. Anybody? Or are we all done talking? Everybody's done. You wore everybody out. All right. We're adjourned.